The Walking Dead, Season 9. Season 9 of The Walking Dead marks a significant turning point in the series, introducing major shifts in leadership, the departure of key characters, and the rise of a terrifying new enemy. Often referred to as a reboot of sorts, this season revitalizes the show with time jumps, fresh storylines, and a deeper focus on rebuilding civilization amidst ongoing threats. Plot overview. Season 9 is divided into two halves, each with distinct arcs. The first half focuses on the survivors' efforts to rebuild society after the war with the Saviors, while the second half introduces the Whisperers, a new group of enemies who blur the line between humans and walkers. First half, rebuilding civilization. The season begins with Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln, leading Alexandria, the Hilltop, the Kingdom, and the remnants of the Saviors in an attempt to create a peaceful and cooperative future. The communities work together to repair infrastructure, establish trade, and form a shared vision of prosperity. However, tensions remain. Maggie, Lauren Cohan, now the leader of Hilltop, struggles with her anger toward Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who remains imprisoned in Alexandria. Daryl, Norman Reedus, and other members of the group also question Rick's decision to spare Negan. As divisions deepen, Rick attempts to maintain unity, but tragedy strikes during a mission to repair a bridge. Rick is gravely injured when he sacrifices himself to save the group by blowing up the bridge to prevent a walker horde from reaching the communities. Though presumed dead, Rick is secretly rescued by a helicopter and taken away, leaving his fate unknown. Second half, The Whisperers. Following Rick's disappearance, a 6-year time jump reveals how the communities have evolved. Michonne, Deniguera, becomes a more guarded and protective leader, while Daryl lives in self-imposed isolation. The Hilltop is now led by Tara, Alana Masterson, after Maggie's unexplained departure. The Whisperers, a group of survivors who disguise themselves as walkers by wearing their skin, emerge as a terrifying new threat. Led by Alpha, Samantha Morton, and her brutal Lieutenant Beta, Ryan Hurst, the Whisperers challenge the survivors' sense of safety. The season builds to a shocking climax when Alpha infiltrates the community's fair and murders several key characters, marking their territory with a gruesome display, the victims' heads on pikes. This event devastates the survivors and sets the stage for a larger conflict. Key characters and arcs. Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln. Rick's final arc is one of legacy and sacrifice. His departure, while emotional, sets the tone for the survivors to forge their own paths without him. Michonne, Deniguera. Michonne's leadership becomes more cautious and authoritarian after Rick's disappearance. Her character explores themes of grief, motherhood, and the challenges of rebuilding trust. Daryl Dixon, Norman Reedus. Daryl takes on a larger leadership role, though he struggles with his sense of loss and responsibility. His connection with Lydia, Alpha's daughter, highlights his compassionate side. Maggie Grain, Lauren Cohan. Maggie's departure leaves a power vacuum at Hilltop, though her influence continues to be felt. Her storyline remains open-ended, leaving room for future developments. Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Negan begins to show signs of remorse and change. His interactions with Judith Grimes, Rick and Michonne's daughter, reveal a softer side to his character. Alpha, Samantha Morton. Alpha is introduced as one of the series' most chilling villains. Her ruthless and manipulative leadership makes the Whisperers a unique and horrifying threat. Carol Pelletier, Melissa McBride. Carol's relationship with Ezekiel and her role as a leader in the Kingdom are central to her arc. Her grief over the loss of her adopted son, Henry, fuels her desire for revenge against Alpha. Lydia, Cassidy McClincy. Alpha's daughter, Lydia, becomes a pivotal character as she defects from the Whisperers and seeks refuge with the survivors. Her struggle to adjust to her new life adds emotional depth to the season. Major themes. Rebuilding and legacy. The season explores the challenges of rebuilding society, emphasizing themes of unity, cooperation, and the lasting impact of past decisions. Leadership and sacrifice. The departure of Rick and Maggie shifts the focus to new leaders, highlighting the burdens and responsibilities of leadership. Grief and healing. The loss of key characters, including Rick and the victims of Alpha's massacre, forces the survivors to confront their grief while finding ways to move forward. Fear and identity. the Whisperers blur the line between human and monster, raising questions about what it means to retain humanity in a world of constant danger. Style and cinematography. Season 9 introduces a refreshed aesthetic, with vibrant visuals contrasting the decay of the post-apocalyptic world. The focus on rebuilding allows for scenes of hope and beauty, while the Whisperer's presence brings a stark sense of horror and unease. The time jump is reflected in subtle changes to the characters' appearances, settings, and relationships, signaling growth and evolution. The introduction of the Whisperers is accompanied by eerie, unsettling cinematography that emphasizes their grotesque disguises and unnerving tactics. Reception. Season 9 was widely praised as a rejuvenation of the series, with critics lauding its character-driven storytelling, thematic depth, and the introduction of the Whisperers. Samantha Morton's performance as Alpha was particularly acclaimed, as was Andrew Lincoln's emotional farewell as Rick Grimes. The departure of key characters, including Rick and Maggie, was bittersweet for fans, but the show's ability to reinvent itself without losing its core appeal was seen as a testament to its strength. The shocking heads on pikes scene was hailed as one of the most memorable and chilling moments in the series, delivering a gut-wrenching impact that left fans eagerly anticipating the next chapter. Legacy and impact. Season 9 of The Walking Dead stands as a turning point in the series, blending the closure of old arcs with the introduction of new conflicts and dynamics. The departure of Rick Grimes marked the end of an era, but the show's renewed focus on rebuilding and the terrifying Whisperers ensured its continued relevance and appeal. By balancing hope with horror and introducing complex new villains, Season 9 set the stage for a new phase of the story, proving that The Walking Dead could evolve while staying true to its roots.